everybody, welcome to J Stern Designs. For today's Quick Tip Tuesday, I'm going to show you how to adjust the length of a shoulder seam on a fitted shirt. I'm working on my new class for pattern review, the perfectly fitted shirt, and this is one of the shirts that I've sewn up to putting the buttons on, and I had fitted it to myself, and when I was trying it on to decide how I wanted to do the buttons, I realized that the shoulders were a little bit too long. So I'm going to slip it on and I'm going to show you what I mean and how you can tell if a shoulder seam is too long. And then I'm going to show you how to adjust your pattern pieces to shorten the seam. On Thursday's quick tip, I'm going to show you how to take apart this shirt that's already been constructed and fix that in something that's already a garment. So this week is all about adjusting your shoulder. Okay, I've slipped on my shirt and I've pinned it shut, and what I want to do is I want to show you how the shoulder looks when it's a little bit too long, and then I've also pinned it up to make the seam sit on the tip of my shoulder on the left side. So let me start by showing you this side of my shirt, and if you notice, the seam between where the armhole is and the sleeve cap is actually hanging off to the edge of my shoulder. So just look at that. Okay, and it's just a little bit too long, and what that does is it restricts the motion of lifting my arm up because the seam is down here instead of up on top of my shoulder, which is much more comfortable. So this is what it looks like when I sewed it, and I had put it just a little bit too long. So I'm going to show you, and I'll show you the back as well. Okay, and on my left I have the shoulder seam pinned up, and obviously there's some wrinkling going on because it's just, you know, pinched up at the top, but you can see that the seam is sitting right along my shoulder, right at the tip of my shoulder. And that's where it should be. So I'm going to show you how to adjust the pattern, and then on Thursday we're going to fix this shirt because this is a really nice shirt and I can't wait to wear it because I've actually made one with sleeves now, and there's a way to, you know, take off some of the fabric at the shoulder on the garment and then re-sew the sleeve. So we'll do that on Thursday, but let's do a little pattern adjusting now. Okay, here are my front and back pattern piece. I'm going to start with the front. So the first step is we want to draw the guidelines for where we're going to slash our pattern. I'm going to draw sort of a rectangle box, and I'll draw it about 2 inches or so from the tip of my shoulder straight down to my length and shorten line I have printed on this pattern. So let me just draw that. Okay, and I'm going to use this line that was my length and shorten line on this pattern as my second slash line. The whole point is we're going to take this piece and we're going to slide it in the 1/2 inch that we need to shorten the shoulder. So when you have your line going into the armhole, make sure it's not in the curve because that makes it harder to true up. So this is right above where the curve starts, and this line is, you know, somewhere in the shoulder. It really doesn't matter where. We just need to make a portion that we can slide. So the next step is I want to make a guideline for how far we need to move this shoulder. So I need to move it a 1/2 inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a 1/2 inch mark along my shoulder like this. So from here to here, so I have to move this over to here. Okay, so let's slash along both lines and cut this piece out like this. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece and we're going to slide it right in like this. And I'm going to keep the base of the pattern even with this slash line. So I'm not tilting it, I'm just sliding it in that 1/2 inch like that. Okay, let me just put some tape so you can see. All right, so as you can see, I've made my shoulder a 1/2 inch shorter. And I also created a situation where I need to true up my armhole, and I'll also have to true up my shoulder seam slightly. So let me show you how to true that up. So I'm going to take a piece of pattern paper and I'm just going to tuck it underneath my sleeve. I'm going to take a piece of pattern paper and I'm just going to tuck it under my armhole like this. Okay, and I'm going to tape it in place. All right, and the general rule when you're truing up a curved line like an armhole is you sort of want to split the difference. You can see I've got more here and I've got less here. So we're going to trim off about half of the amount that's extending there, and we're going to add it to the portion above the slash line. So the way I like to draw my new curved line is to basically dash it in lightly. So I'm going to start down at the base of my curve, and I'm just going to start gradually coming along until I reach the middle of the part that is extended past the top of the pattern, and then I'm going to blend it back to the original up near the tip of the shoulder like this. Okay, so see what I did? I sort of split the difference there. All right, and then I'm just going to use my French curve to darken that line and finish that. Okay, so now I've got my new curve in my armhole. What I'll do, let me highlight it so you can see how it looks. Okay, so that's my new armhole shape. All right, let me just trim off this extra paper for now. Okay. All right, I'm just going to tape a little paper onto the top of my shoulder so I can true up my shoulder seam. Okay, and the way I'm going to do that is very easily, let me turn it this way so you can see. It'll be easier to see this way. All right, so I've got, here's the original tip of my shoulder and here's the original neckline edge. All I'm gonna do for this is I'm gonna keep those constant. So I'm gonna line my ruler up with the tip of the shoulder and the original neck, and I'm just gonna draw a new line. And that trues that up. All right, so because we shortened the front shoulder seam, we have to also do it to the back.